Hello. So I'm doing the final presentation here for my app that is um, a Twitter kind of a tweet storing database. So I'll do a code review walkthrough first, and then follow that up with the actual demo later. So here, the main imports that we have are tkinter, which is our GUI framework, SQLite 3, which is our database that we're using with Python, Tweepy, which is a Twitter wrapper for Python, and JSON to help us with some of our JSON formatting that Twitter gives us. So this file is the main file, just kind of a one file um, program uh, that kind of got uh, stuff from two different files thrown into it to kind of make the final thing here. So we start off with a main thing. We're opening up right here. We put our credentials for Twitter development, which includes about like 4 different things: API access, um, specific bearer tokens, and whatnot. So we put that in there so it just wasn't sitting here statically in the file. And we're just loading that in and then authorizing through Tweepy, saying, here's my API key, here's my API secret key, access token secret. Like I should have authorization to use basically Tweepy API. And I haven't had it fail yet, so I couldn't tell you what happens if it doesn't, but I do have development access, so things went pretty smooth there. I did that at the start because I'm going to be using that in some functions down below to actually fetch some stuff from Twitter. And then we're going to honestly move into a lot of the GUI setup. Create a window, labels, creating some variable text fields for entries, um, creating a couple different option menus, all really, really basic stuff. These are actually the list boxes. So I'm displaying, and I'll pull up this. I'm displaying on the application 4 different things. The primary key for the database is the Twitter ID, or the tweet ID. So that, as far as I can tell, would be the only possible primary key that you could have for a database that where you're storing tweets, because every single tweet has its own unique ID that looks something like this number here. So a however many character number, or however many digit number, very long number. But that makes it unique to all other tweets, because if a user, or let's say a user tweets the same thing twice, well, how do you differentiate them? Um, the user is the same, the tweet message is the same. The only thing that it can be is the actual tweet ID. So the 4 things I'm displaying the ID of the tweet, and I'm actually kind of tagging on the search field with that as well. I also store that. The name of the person, the handle of the person, and the tweet body. So that's kind of the more fun stuff, and that's done using 4 kind of side-by-side list boxes. I thought about linking the scrolls with them, but for the sake of the tweet body, I just went ahead and left it separate, because you actually need to scroll a little bit to the right to see all of the tweet if it's long. Um, everything's scrollable, and insert kind of like our headers for our header columns for this. And then we have some functions, which I will get to in a bit. But down here at the bottom, we create kind of our main buttons. So we have a get button, which is our search button, our submit, because it's me going out and getting the Twitter information. Clear will clear all of the boxes, all the text fields, and then you can just refetch the database. 3 is the fetch button for the database, and 4 is a filter button based off of a hashtag, and we filter by popularity. So then I'll go to some of the functions. We'll start with get. So get, okay. So with get, we do an API search This search right here takes our variable search field and goes out and gets it, or gets that string that you inputted, the result types based off of a option box that we have at the top, and then number of search is how many tweets you want to go get. I think I have 10, 25, 50, and 100, so that we can fetch at a time, as my mail opens for no reason. And then here, we're going to go through those tweets, and for each individual tweet, we're pulling out the individual JSON stuff. And then we're going to insert that into the database with the values. Commit that, and then set the search bar or the search field back to a empty string. Clear, we're just deleting everything in the box or doing this. That's mainly for visual aid. It's not going to delete anything in the actual database. Record is kind of our fetch command here. It would be linked to the fetch button, I believe. Yes, record. So first off, I actually ran into a bug where I wasn't clearing out these list boxes, and so it wasn't an issue until I started trying to do filter stuff, and then I was just getting duplicates, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably clear those out. And I'm just going through and kind of doing the same thing except putting them in the box. And then the filter, it filters based on your search variable that you give it, and then sorts it by the number of favorites that it got. So it's basically popular vote, and then displays all of that. So with that out of the way, we will go ahead and start it. Okay. Here you can see this is the option box between recent tweets or popular tweets. The Twitter API searches for both, but it defaults to popular. Here we have, and again, I have absolutely no idea why these numbers are flip-flopped. In the array that I gave it, it was not. It was in order. That's another thing that I haven't been able to figure out. Here's the search box. You can actually search any hashtags or just kind of think like Twitter search. You can also search just something that exists inside the body. This will require the original search that you did with your to get the tweet, which I'll show you here in a second. I already have, as you can see here by this for SQLite 3, I have some information in already. So when I fetch here, we're going to see 4 columns. Now there is a couple things I added here. Over here is the body, and you can see some of these can go on for a little bit, including whatever characters. The numbering system I put in place just to kind of correspond things left and right, so you don't scroll down right here and think, well, does this link up with this? The links up with this. And it just corresponds to the number of entries in there. But you can see the different things that I've searched. So for tweet ID, just having a box full of these numbers wasn't super helpful, especially if you wanted to filter. So I went ahead and I put in parentheses, which is another value that I store in the database here. The actual schema looks something like search, tweet ID, name, handle, body, and then favorites. So 2 of these things I don't show, but I keep them on the back end in the database and use them. So for here, search some stuff on Cyberpunk 2077. So if I wanted to see the most popular 2077 hashtag, I'd click filter. And here we have in correspondence Jason Schreier with handle name that. I knew Cyberpunk 2077 wasn't going to be glitchy, but I did not expect my entire game to be covered with tiny trees. Okay. So a couple things that could have been added at this point, and I thought about it, was we filtered by popularity. Do you necessarily need to know the number of favorites that it got? Who knows? There's a lot of flexibility with Tkinter on what you would want to put here, or what you can put here, and it's kind of unfortunate. I put it in my my document, something I couldn't get working to make this part a little bit better. But overall, I'm kind of happy with, or I'm happy enough with how it turned out with these. And so here we filtered, of course, by popularity. You can clear everything out. I believe if you switch to recent, it'll reset to popular. And you can just refetch. So let's actually do a search. Let's do something Cyberpunk related. I did CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077. Let's just do PS4. 4. 5. 5 is the new one. So submit. We'll submit that search field, and in the code I actually tried to auto fetch as soon as you submitted, but I ran into a bunch of errors. Yeah, okay, so here if we filter by popularity of PS5, just get those, we'll see our 10 new entries on PS5. Uh, some from PlayStation Japan, with whatever else. So,